Some fighters find their path to combat sports as a hobby, a means of keeping fit or in shape. Others come into it by accident or are pushed to train by their parents or social circles. But some people were simply put in this planet to become fighters. Khamzat Chimaev's upbringing and eventual rise to the top of the MMA game has proven beyond any doubt that this man was born to fight. May 1, 1994 was the day that saw Chimaev first draw breath. Born in Chechnya, Russia, a place that would remain his home for the first 18 years of his life. But it took just 5 for Chimaev to find his first passion. Khamzat had barely learned to walk, and he had already enrolled in his first wrestling class, spending his childhood years honing his fundamentals, getting a feel for the mat beneath him. At 18, he immigrated to Sweden, where he immediately became a sensation on the wrestling scene. By age 22, he was already considered to be one of the finest freestyle wrestlers in the region, and he foreshadowed his division-hopping ways in the UFC years later by earning national gold at both 86 kilograms and 92 kilograms. During his time, he tested the waters of both judo and sambo, but the real major shift in Khamzat's fighting focus would come when he was 23. Just 5 short years ago, Chimaev walked in the door of the famous All-Star Training Center in Stockholm, the camp that produced the 3-time light heavyweight title challenger Alexander Gustafsson. It became very clear very early on that Khamzat was a natural at mixed martial arts. And his wrestling background and immense physicality, he wasted no time in pursuing his new goal, an MMA World Championship. Over the course of 8 months in late 2017 and early 2018, he competed in and won 3 amateur bouts, finishing each one before eventually turning pro in May of 2018. That year, Khamzat built off his final amateur win by going 4-0 to kick off his professional career, 2 fights at middleweight, 1 at welterweight, and a single catchweight fight in between. But the biggest test of Khamzat's career would come shortly after his 5th pro outing against Ikram Aliskerov, a 4-time world champion in combat sambo who has gone on to sign for the UFC this year. For once, Chimaev's wrestling was not quite as effective. Luckily, his striking was coming on at a rapid pace, and it took him just under 2.5 minutes to find a picture-perfect uppercut to score the first round KO. 1 win later that year would follow before the UFC had seen enough. Khamzat Chimaev was signed to a contract with the world's premier mixed martial arts promotion, debuting in a dominant middleweight effort against John Phillips to win by 2nd round submission in lopsided fashion.
Nobody's like me. I can fight them finishing.
But his next move? Well, that would make Boers a true sensation. If you are enjoying this content and want to see more videos like this, drop a comment and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on any of our upcoming videos. Khamzat had barely cooled down after his promotional debut before he decided to answer the UFC's call for a replacement fighter, booking himself for a showdown in the welterweight division just 10 days later. This was during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, and with so many fighters ineligible to compete or otherwise engaged, the stage was there for a star to be born. And that is exactly what Khamzat did. He took the fight with Irishman Rhys McKee and proceeded to score yet another totally uncompetitive victory.
All right, let's take a look here. He gets the body lock, gets the takedown ultimately, and from here on out, it's just Chimaev the whole way.
Now, Chimaev was proving himself across 2 different weight classes, and to say that fans took notice would be putting it lightly. There was a hunger from the fans for all things Khamzat Chimaev. He was the fresh, exciting new prospect on the block, and when he returned to the middleweight division for his 3rd UFC outing in 2 months, he made an almighty statement in his main card slot.
Most dangerous guy here. I gotta come for everyone. I kill everybody. Allah Akbar.
A 17-second KO of the veteran Gerald Meerschaert was enough to convince the world that Khamzat was headed for the very top.
I knock out Khamzat Chimaev.
Sure, you could make the argument that it was all a bit premature, but the hype demanded a certain level of acceleration to his career. So the UFC did the unthinkable and tried to book him against the number 3 ranked Leon Edwards, despite Chimaev only holding 1 appearance as a welterweight.
Professional. I want to fight next week. Doesn't matter when.
Is that
today, tomorrow?
Is
one
that
more fight? I'm so hungry. Doesn't matter. Give me one guy, I'm gonna smash him.
Unfortunately, this fight would be doomed to fail, and Khamzat would lose a year of his fighting career to a battle with coronavirus that threatened to bring him to an early retirement. However, this tale was not yet fully told. And with his young age on his side, Khamzat took a year out, returning to a rapturous Abu Dhabi ovation at UFC 267, his first pay-per-view main card appearance. The veteran Li Jingliang was chosen as his opponent, a powerful striker and an all-around fan favorite who could at the very least provide a real knockout threat if Chimaev couldn't ground him. Well, as it turned out, it wasn't an issue, not at all. Khamzat returned to the cage better than ever, sending the crowd into hysterics as he picked the leech up off his feet, walked over to Dana White's side of the cage while roaring at him, before easily scoring the submission win for a cool $50,000 bonus check. Khamzat was back. That he was ready for a step up.
If you have fight, give me fight. When you want, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna be champion here.
That step up came in the form of a clash with the BJJ legend Gilbert Burns. And boy, was this fight a good one. These two athletes left everything inside the octagon on that night, engaging in a ferocious back and forth brawl that saw both men pushed to the very edge. By the time all was said and done, Chimaev's impeccable defensive record of barely being punched inside the cage was no more. But in its place was something a lot more important, a legitimate top 5 victory and definitive proof of your ability to defeat world-class opposition. So what was his reward? Well, it should have been a fight with the superstar Nate Diaz, but Khamzat's shocking performance on the scales during fight week saw his first pay-per-view headliner relegated to a co-main event spot. Chimaev lost a lot of fans with that one, and sure, he was able to score an incredibly dominant win over the former middleweight Kevin Holland in its place. But can you imagine how much more of a benefit beating Nate Diaz would have given him?
Smash everybody. Give me champion, 84 kilos, 77 kilos. I'm gonna smash both. Same day.
Well, for now, Khamzat is ranked as the 3rd best welterweight on the planet, and even though he has never fought for UFC gold, you can't help but get the sense that he is only 1 win away from a shot at either a 170 or 185-pound title. As far as breakout stars go, in recent times, guys like Israel Adesanya, Sean O'Malley, and Islam Makhachev have certainly made their mark, but no one has done it with such an insanely violent flair at such a blink-and-you'll-miss-it kind of speed as Khamzat Chimaev. Only time will tell if he can take this momentum all the way to the Hall of Fame, because judging off his clear potential, at this rate, anything less would have to be considered a disappointment.